Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, July the 18th, 2021. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. I'm hanging in there. It's been another crazy week, and we made it. Some people didn't make it, so I'm praying for all of those. But anyway, I'd like to welcome everyone to the show today. This will be my weekly update for methane and sea ice that I'll be putting on YouTube. If you'd like to see updates during the week, you can join us over on my Subscribe Star page. The link is in the description box below, and we'd love to have you over there. And I'm not monetized. My channel here on YouTube was never monetized, and so and I'm not on any like Facebook, or I have a Twitter account, but I don't use it anymore. And so that's I'm focusing on the Subscribe Star page for doing posts during the week. So that's that situation. So we're going to start out with the methane data. This is, so fasten your seatbelts first of all. This is the NOAA methane data for yesterday, the 17th. This is for the 477/469 millibar reading. This is the METOP-1 satellite that has been renamed METOP-B for whatever reason, and the AM shows it's the morning reading. The mean or average was 1919 parts per billion. The high reading was 2368. Look at all the pink down here in the southern hemisphere. There is methane. Well, it's drifting down there, but it's also coming up from around the Antarctic. In the afternoon, the mean was 1921. The high reading was 2354. On the METOP-2, renamed METOP-A satellite, in the morning, the mean was 1899. The high reading was 2327. In the afternoon, the mean was 1899 and the high reading was 2414. Here's the spreadsheet where I've been tracking all this stuff since March of, I didn't mean to do that, March of 2019. Hang on, I gotta get this lined up. And so the average for those four readings I just showed you comes out to be 1909.50 parts per billion. That's showing an increase this week of 4.5 parts per billion. So it's shooting up. Here's the blue line, and it's almost at 1910, and you can see the chart added another 10 parts per billion. So now the chart goes up to 1920 instead of 1910. So we're well on our way. We're probably going to zip past this 1910. Now this is a high increase for 1 week, but we've seen it before. We've seen increases of 4 and 5 parts per billion in a week. So now a year ago we were 24.5 parts per billion lower a year ago, and since March the 1st of 2019, since I started tracking this, we've gone up 52.25 parts per billion. So these are readings that we haven't seen, that since they've been measuring methane in modern human society, you know, with all the measurings and everything, These are in readings that we have not experienced before. So let's see what happened this week. Here we were for last Sunday. So the reading was for Saturday the 10th. We were at 1905, and we had gone up 2.75 last week. And then on Sunday there was no change. On Monday it went down 0.5 part per billion. On Tuesday it went up 0.25. Wednesday went up 0.75. Thursday it went up 2.5. Friday it went up 1 part per billion. And then Saturday it went up 0.5 part per billion, which gives us an overall increase this week of 4.5 parts per billion and 24.5 parts per billion higher than a year ago. And we can look back. I started tracking this on a daily basis in early last year. So here we go. On this July 17th, 2020, we were 1885 parts per billion. And now we're almost at 1910. So we are in the season where methane is on the rise, and usually it'll keep rising through the summer, through the hot periods, and usually it peaks out in October, then starts going down. So there's that. And last week we had surpassed the maximum that we reached last year. Last year was 1904.25 on these two times, once in September and once in October. And then we'd been lower, and then last week in my report last week we'd gone up past that, and so now we've gone up 4.5 this week. Now we'll look at the CAMS data. This is the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services website. I have Saturday 17th loaded, Arctic view, and surface level ready to go. Here's the color ledger down here, but you know, we're 24 parts per billion higher than a year ago, so we can add, and it's showing about 20 parts per billion lower than what it was showing last year with the colors. So I figure add about 40, maybe 45 parts per billion, and we might have a more accurate color on this. So it's just frustrating. So here we go. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. So I want you to, we've been watching this area around Komsomolets. Look at this. It's out of control. It doesn't stop. And look at it in the forecast period, look at it. That's on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's just billowing. And no one's talking about that area. And I'm thinking this is part of the top secret water area from Russia. And so whatever is causing that methane, continuous methane release, we'll never know. We'll never know. We can see we've got our problem spot popping back up here in the North Atlantic. Watch here it comes. See. And we're seeing waves of green move out, so see the light green, that would really be like orange or red if we had the correct color ledger assigned. So we can see higher background colors all the way across. Now what gets me is with these high readings, why isn't Russia just totally green, at least all the way across? And this area here in eastern Siberia, that's from wildfires. We got fires down here in Yakutia burning, and they're kind of going all the way across. Now people are not talking about the fires in Canada, but they're awful. And when you look at the satellite view, it actually looks worse from Canada and from North America when you put it all together than from the fires in Russia. I know that's kind of hard to believe, but you know, no one's talking about it. Alright, let's go to the North Pole view. Here we can see the whole northern hemisphere from a bird's eye view. We're starting to see some greens coming across out of the water and streaming across, like from China, and streaming here from Europe. Watch this. See, that's coming out. Those are signs of very high methane. Here's India, here's China, here's Korea. Look at this area. Now this is Japan, and then this is Kamchatka, Russia, and this is the Sea of Okhotsk, and this whole area. Look at the release there. Look at that. That's much higher than we normally see. And we have, just depending on the day and the time, we have huge blobs of just really high readings here in North America. Now, we're going to go to the Antarctic. I've started showing this because I noticed that you know, it was popping up around some of the coastlines, and now right now we're seeing this light blue kind of overtaking, and this happens when methane really starts going on the rise. And the dark blue is 1800 parts per billion. Remember, this is at the surface, and then the next color up, this light blue, is 1820 parts per billion. And so we can see that some of it is mixing from the atmosphere, I think, coming down from the north, but some of it is coming up from the surface. This is that's why it's called surface level. And so I have to respectfully disagree with the person who left the comment saying that they didn't think that methane was coming up from the surface of the Antarctic. In fact, we can see where it's isolated and just starting to come up, like here at the Larsen ice shelf. Look at that. See, I paused it, and this is not drifting down from South America. This was coming up at the beginning even. It's coming up from that whole Larsen area. And we also have it coming up. See, this is a higher reading than the light blue. Again, same as here at the Larsen area. This is at the Brunt ice sheet. And also here on the Amory ice sheet, we'll see some higher readings popping up as well. So it is coming up from the surface. And I've been looking at this data every day for years now, and so I know what I'm talking about. And like even down here, see, on around the coastlines, see where it's just kind of isolated, you can see it popping up. And before we got so much light blue mixing down here and coming up, we could see it isolated coming up around the coastlines and also on the interior. So this color, that's the like the 1840 to 1860, or maybe even 1880 parts per billion here and here at the Brunt ice sheet. See, you can see it coming up right there on that coastline. And this is the Amory ice sheet. There it goes. See where it's kind of isolated, you can see it. Anyway. And before, you know, I just see it just kind of popping up around the edges, and I've seen that. It's not the first. This is not the first time. So now we'll look at the global view. But it is getting higher all around the globe, so it makes sense that you know, it's coming up, and whether it's from mixing or coming up from the, you know, from the sea surface, and it could be as these waters get hotter and hotter, which they are doing, you know, it's going to release more carbon dioxide and more methane as well. Now we can see a huge difference this week in that there's not much of the dark blue. See, that's being overtaken by the light blue. And so this is a sign that methane is rising. Now last summer, I don't remember when, but last summer this whole bottom part, you know, the background color was a light blue for a good while. I can't remember. I'd have to go back through my videos and see. Here we can see the outline of Australia with the light blue coming up. And we can see higher readings of methane even see streaming across from Africa. See it streaming west across the Atlantic, and then we've got it streaming off of South America. And watch, you can see this, watch this wave come down. It's expanding. The higher readings are definitely expanding. Here, look at this in the Pacific. So there's that. Now, here's 500 HPA. This is supposed to be equivalent to the level that we see on NOAA. Now we're seeing green all the way to the bottom. Highest readings are here from India over to China, and on this eastern side of China. Also, see the red is just spread out across the Arctic here. Here's total column, and here's China, and see how it's streaming up. The Russia line, it starts here, and look at this red-orange in the Sea of O coast. So total column reading is pretty high there. And then all the way across India, across Iran and Saudi Arabia and the Persian Gulf. It's even red coming into Egypt, and this red-orange is the next color up. So whatever is red-orange, then as it heats up, you know, and things get more intense, this will turn red, and then the red will turn dark red. And we're seeing I'm going to refresh so I can get the correct color ledger. Remember, when you change levels here, like from surface level to total column, the color ledger doesn't change with it. You have to do a refresh to get the correct color ledger. So here's our color ledger. And here the dark red goes between 1920 to 2320 parts per billion. Now we're seeing even some green down here over the Weddell Sea, light green. So this is the 1740, and then the darker green is the next color, 1760, and so on. So the total column is where you add up the methane through all the levels. Okay, now let's get on with our sea ice. I'll take you through my slideshow. I took these pictures this week, and this is from Climate Reanalyzer for today, sea ice and snow cover. Now, it does not look accurate to what we're seeing on the other models. When we look at NASA Worldview and the Navy model, and also National Snow and Ice Data Center, we're not seeing it emptied out like this here in the Beaufort Sea. So I don't know if this is a mistake, if they, missed one of the layers, or or what, but that looks pretty dramatic there. But overall, it's thinning greatly all the way across, and it is in high melt. They've been having rain and weather systems up there. So, and then Greenland is in big trouble. It's been raining, and it's raining down here on the southern part today. So we'll go through this slideshow now. Here we were last week for the show. This was on the 11th, and I'll just click through. Here's the 12th, 13th. Look at that big change. Here's the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and here we are today. So that's a big change from yesterday to today. And I don't think this is accurate because the thicker sea ice is right up here, over right above Barrow. So I really don't think that's accurate, but that's what they're showing. So there's that. Now we'll go through the Navy model, and I did a show in the middle of the week just comparing the this model for the Arctic, for the sea ice thickness, back to 2014, and I pointed out that the GLB, that's the current model that they're using. Before, like the middle of 2014, they were using the ARC model. And so if you see anyone trying to compare like 2012 to 2021, you really can't, because it's a different modeling system. So here we are today with the sea ice thickness in the Arctic. So we can look at this. Now, this Laptev Sea is pretty much clear. When we see NASA World View, you'll see this is pretty much open, and this Chukchi Sea and East Siberian Sea is opening up. There's a little bit left here, just north of Siberia, a little bit left here that's thicker. Then, see, according to this model, we still have this thicker ice above Alaska. Now there is a thinner area in between the ice around the coastline and then the thicker ice, and then we've got thinner ice above it. So that's why I really don't think that that model on Climate Reanalyzer is correct today. So here's quadrant 2, and here's the Kara Sea. It's open. This North Kara Sea, I don't know why this is thicker ice hanging on, but maybe they're doing some kind of experiment up there to keep the ice going. And then quadrant 2 is thinning down. I mean, this is quadrant 3, thinning down. There's virtually no ice here on this east side of Greenland. The Baffin Bay is really clearing out. The Nares Strait is opened up. We've got ice on either end. And then here in quadrant 4, we can see like where the ice was an arc. See, it's breaking up. That's clearing out. And the thickness is going way down. way down. See that there's hardly any green and just a little wisp of yellow and red. And these tributaries are opening up, and the ice is already flowing out of these tributaries. Here's the 30-day animation. It goes back 3 weeks. Forecast goes out to the 24th, which is next Saturday. So the bright aqua is about 2 meters thick. The solid purple is about 1 meter thick. Let's see, Hudson Bay, that's opened up. So let's watch this. Watch how it just thins out. It's amazing in 30 days the change from even dark aqua to light purple. It's just incredible. And look at around these coastlines. See, it's shrinking down and it's exiting. You can see it flowing out. Okay, here we are on the last day of the model, which is next Saturday. This is what they're forecasting. And see all this light purple, that's almost nothing, no ice there. And it's just flowing out. And see how this thicker ice, it's breaking up and it's coming apart. I'm really thinking we could have the Blue Ocean event, the first one this year. I'm really thinking it, especially with that methane going up the way it is. And see how thin it is up here in the Beaufort Sea. We've got holes opening up. And also where it's open water, it's already heating up way past normal. So that means the ice will melt that much faster too. Okay. Here's the Beaufort Sea for the Navy model, sea ice thickness. The Alaska's down here at the bottom. Here's Canada on the right. And here's what's left of the thickest sea ice, where it's just being whittled down and tossed back and forth in this gyre. So this is today. Here's the 30-day model. This does go out to next Sunday, the 25th. Look at that. Look, you can see it flowing out here. Look at that. So at the end, so a week from now, look what's left of that thickest sea ice. That's very, very sad. And see, there's just a tiny bit of yellow, green, and red up here. just a tiny bit. And some aqua, that bright aqua right here, that's about 2 meters thick. The dark aqua is like 1.5 meters thick, like here. And then the blue is about 1.25 meters thick. Here's the Baffin Bay. Now I probably won't be showing this anymore for the rest of the summer, simply because in this model it only goes up halfway in the Baffin Bay, and the ice is retreating so fast we're not going to have anything to show. Here is the sea surface temperature in the Baffin Bay, and you can see why we won't have anything to show, because the water is heating up. And this dark red, that's like 4C. So there won't be ice with the temperature of 4C of the water. Now we'll go to the Antarctic. Here is sea ice thickness for today. Now if you look closely, you can see areas around the coastlines where there's no ice, where the ice has not come back up to the coastline. Here in the Weddell Sea, down here, Pine Island, that area around Pine Island Glacier, that looks really thin or non-existent. Here around the Ross Ice Shelf, see, that's white. And here on the east coast, see, we've got a lot of white areas, and I don't know why it's not coming back to the coastline. I'm just pointing that out. So when they say the extent is better than average, I mean, it's not very thick. And we've got methane coming up. So, and it's dark down here. And so it just goes to show that you can have methane in the dark and in the cold and even with ice. Here's the 30-day animation. We can see the ice growing back here. And it's thickening back up. They're trying to still have these areas. Look, see the white? That's no ice around these coastlines. So I don't understand. Now there is ice here around the Larsen. There's methane coming up there. And here at the Brunt ice sheet, there's ice, but there's methane coming up there. And we're back to the beginning. That's all of those. Now we'll move on. This is National Snow and Ice Data Center Sea Ice Index. Their data. This is from yesterday. And see, according to this model, there's not a big hole here in the Beaufort Sea. It's thinning. I mean, it's more blue than white, but there's not a big hole. There is a big hole here in the Laptev Sea and around. So that correlates more with the Navy model. Here's the chart for sea ice extent. This blue line is this year, the dotted line is 2012, and we can see we are below the dotted line, so we are under 2012 in sea ice extent right now, as of yesterday. This gray line is the average. So we've been going right along with 2012, and we've been below 2012 even during the winter. So I would not expect it to be that much different, maybe even a lot less than 2012. So we'll see what happens. I'll look at the Antarctic. Here's the concentration. See, there's the hole. You can see it right there next to the Amory ice sheet. That's one of them. And then, here we go. Here's our sea ice extent. The blue line is this year. This gray-green line is last year. This light gray line is the average. So this year the extent is higher than last year and higher than the average. But we're really worried about the Arctic, because that's the one with, if we have that blue ocean event, then all bets are off as to how much time we have left. Now here's the Greenland ice sheet. This is as of yesterday, and the salmon areas are where it's melting, and see, it's a big wide area at the bottom. And look at this in the interior and all around the edges. Here, this is the cumulative melt days for this year, and we can see they're adding up. They're going into this kind of greenish yellow color. 45 days here on the west side. This is the melt extent. The dotted blue line is the average, and the red line is 2021. So I'm not sure where July started, but we're halfway through July. But so we can see it's been spiking up, and it's going to see it spiking back up above the average. Here it was about at 25% melt there. And yesterday here we have about 19% melt. Now we'll go through Climate Reanalyzer. Here are the maximum temperatures for today. We can see over the Arctic, most of it is above freezing. It's in the greens. So the air temperature, most of it is above freezing. And we still have the really hot temperatures. Look at Africa and coming across this whole Middle East into India, and look, it's going up in the U.S. This is Nebraska. What is it? North and South Dakota. No, wait, Nebraska's down here. This is Montana, right there. Looks hot. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly. This is for today. And we've got some blues over Russia and blues in Greenland and up in Canada. And then some browns coming across the Arctic. So then brown over Greenland. Then look at the browns right next to these blues up here in Canada and the US. Here's the flat view. And so we've got a lot colder than normal here in around the Antarctic by the Weddell Sea. Look at Western Russia and coming into Europe. We've got browns. So worldwide we're up 0.2 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.7 C. The Arctic is up 0.3 C. The tropics are up 0.5 C. The southern hemisphere is down 0.3 C. And the Antarctic is down 2.1 C. So that's lower than normal. Here's precipitation. Look at this rain here at Greenland. This is, I mean, the ice sheet doesn't have a chance with that kind of weather on the interior. That's just not good. And see, we've got some rains coming across over the sea ice as well. And I haven't been reporting on it, but there's been like massive flooding over in Europe. I've seen pictures, and you know, my heart goes out to all of you guys where in Germany and some other places. But this is, as we know, those of us who have been looking at this for a while, as the climate system breaks down, then the weather breaks down, and so it causes all kinds of weather chaos, where one area will be dry and another area will have too much rain. It causes intense storms where the hot air meets the cold air and so forth. Here's the jet stream. Look at this loop. And then we've got a separate one coming down. It's pretty split up. We saw here's sea ice and snow cover. See that hole still there. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly. This is as of yesterday. And look here in the Kara Sea, that's into the red and brown, and around these coastlines, look, they're red and brown. Here in the Baltic Sea, it's red. Look around Greenland, and I don't know why this area in the Barents Sea is blue. You know, that's colder than normal. I don't know why. If someone has an idea, put it in the comments below. See, we've got red coming up here in the Baffin Bay. And then around these areas where the ice has melted. See, it's already in the browns all around. Look at, we've got this red spot, the red blob in the Pacific. Here is the Gulf of Baja. See, that's red and brown. Look at this area off the coast of North America, red and brown. Now I wanted to show you. So here's the flat view. Look over here by Japan. Look, it's all red between Japan and Korea, and then red up here. Here's the Black Sea. It's into the brownish red. Worldwide, we're up 0.5 C higher than normal. The Northern Hemisphere and North Pacific are up 0.6 C. The North Atlantic is up 0.5 C. Southern Hemisphere is up 0.3 C. And Equatorial Pacific is up 0.1 C. So it's all on the rise there. Now we'll move on. Here's NASA World View. We'll refresh. Okay, I've got the sea ice concentration layer turned on. We'll turn on the blue marble layer so that we can see this without the clouds for now. See, there's just a little bit here in the middle of Baffin Bay, not much there. See these tributaries, they're opened up. Where you see the black, that means there's no ice. See this Hudson Bay, it's almost all opened up now. Just a little wisp of ice on this east side of Greenland. A little bit here. Here's Svalbard. Here's the Barents Sea. There's no ice here. Here's the Kara Sea. There's no ice here between Novaya Zemlya and the Yamal Peninsula. We still have ice in the North Kara Sea. Now look at this line that's melting all around there. This is Severnaya Zemlya. This little island, that's Komsomolets. This area is where we're seeing it, the methane billowing up on CAMS. Here's the Laptev Sea. Look at how that's opened up. There's just a little wisp right down here by the coast. Here the New Siberian Islands, and this whole coastline has opened up. You see that? And then big huge open area just next to those islands. And here is a little bit of thicker ice, but you can see that's in high melt. And then here's the Bering Strait, nothing there. Here's Alaska. We've got some ice coming up to the coastline here, see, still. And sorry, here we go. This is along Alaska, Canada. Here's the Amundsen Gulf, that's open. See these tributaries. See, some of these are wide open, like here. Here, this is the nearest strait. We've got a big open area right in the middle there. And notice the interior. The ice is really coming apart. It's starting to really deteriorate. So thicker ice, what's left of it is right around here. Just just north of Alaska. Here's the North Pole. So let's go back and see what it's done this week. Here we were last Sunday. Here's Monday. See, here's a big melting here in the Beaufort Sea. Here's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. See, that opened up a lot Saturday. And here we are today. So when you start seeing all these colors come in, that's where it's in high melt. Now, we'll look at the satellite view. So we've got smoke. Here's smoke from Canada. Here's smoke from Russia. Oh, I wanted to show. Go back. This is Zoom Earth. Look at the smoke. Look all the way across US, Canada, and they have massive fires burning in Canada. Look at this whole area. See the smoke, and smoke coming up into Greenland there. They've made a couple of changes this week. They've moved the wildfires over to the right here, and the rain over to the right, this right hand side. It used to be over here and under the layers, but they've moved them. Another thing that they've done, they've added labels. This is new. See, I don't know if the labels were on there this last week. Anyway, that's fairly new. They added labels in Canada too. So it's just in North America. See, we can see like the Kenora 51 fire, 282,500 acres. Look, that's huge there. Now down here it tells the containment, and we've got a lot of fire coming up. I mean, a lot of smoke coming up from the Tamarack fire. Look at that. I'll turn off the rain. It's right down here, and we can see the sun today. See, it's all the way up. It's mixed with clouds. Here's what it was yesterday. See, we were right on the edge of the smoke from the Tamarack fire late in the afternoon. And then see how it was spreading out. The wind is blowing from south to north. Now, this is the Beckworth complex. That's the one I was showing last week. It's 75% contained. We're not really getting smoke from that. This Dixie fire is not looking good. 15,000 acres, 15% contained. It's east of Chico and east of Paradise. But this Tamarack fire, that's the biggest one right now in California. 0 containment. Look at that. And there was what, a 6.8 something earthquake down here this week, and so these fires are not very far from the earthquake that happened. And it's still swarming with the earthquakes. And here in Oregon, look at all of that. See the smoke just spreading out. Look at this. Look at this. That's all smoky. And then, okay, here it is today. See, here are the clouds. If we go over here to Russia, see, here's their smoke. See all their fires. It's awful. It's awful. There are no labels on these. There are only labels over in North America. And the satellite view stops at the Arctic Circle at 66 north latitude. So there's that. So it gives you a little context of what you're seeing. So here are the Russia fires, the Canada fires, or see, here's the smoke. Now, here's the rain cloud over Greenland today. Here's the Baffin Bay. See? Here's the nearest strait. See, that's opened up. See how that ice is breaking up? That's opened up a lot this week. Here's Greenland. Here's Svalbard. Here's Franz Josef Land. Here's Novaya Zemlya. This is algae, that blue-green. See? Here's the Kara Sea, that's open. There's the Yamal Peninsula. Here's the Gulf of Ob, that's open. Now here's the ice in the North Kara Sea. Here's where you can see it breaking up. Now here's the Vovolov ice cap, and you can see the ice flowing. Now there's still ice here in the ocean, but you can see the flow where it's coming out. It's racing out. And so we can see that this ice, see the cracks. That's coming apart really fast. Here's Komsomolets. Here is the Laptev Sea. See, that's all open. It's got clouds over it, but there's no ice in here. See, all the way up to the coastline, there's no ice. Here's the northern edge of the ice. See the pieces? That's coming apart. See? Let's go back up. So here's the coastline. So we're looking through clouds here. Now here's the Bering Strait. Lots of clouds. Here's Alaska. Here's Barrow. So there is ice up along the coastline here. Now here's where it's come away from the coastline. And then the Munster Gulf. See, that's open. Now here's the Beaufort Sea. So the thickest ice is right around up in here, this area. Now here's an area with no clouds. You can see the melt. Here's the Canadian archipelago. This is Ellesmere Island. What's this? And we're back to Greenland. Let's go back. Here was yesterday. So wherever you've got rain and snow over the ice, that's the smoke is mixing in with it. So those particulates of the smoke will come down on the ice, and it eats it away faster. See what the day before looked like. It's about the same. Here's the Beaufort Sea. See, lots of clouds. Now here's the Alaska coastline. We can see that a little better. So there's that. I had, let's see, I forgot to show the rest of my pictures. So let's go through these. This is sulfur dioxide globally for today. There's an area up here, Iran, we had a big sulfur dioxide release yesterday. And then earthquakes started coming in right where the sulfur dioxide came up from. Now this is today. This is more where it's shot up through the atmosphere. Now here we can see it's high at Popocatépetl, and here at Kamchatka. Here's a close-up. This is the North Africa view. And see right up here. This is the Caspian Sea. So here's this is Saudi Arabia. This is Iran. Here it is at 500 HPA. So this is where it's shot up. This is from CAMS. This is the smoke for today. See, here it is over Russia, and here it is over Canada and the US, North America. The whole northern hemisphere is affected by all this smoke. Here's the global view. Here it is. This is Africa. That's all of those. I wanted to show one more thing, then we'll look at earthquakes. We'll go to sulfur dioxide. Here it was yesterday. Now I'm going to go to North Africa. Here we go. See, this was yesterday. Here's what it looked like yesterday. See, it was a huge release. It just zipped right up, and you'll see when we look at the earthquakes, this is right where the earthquakes happened. So we'll go through earthquakes now. I took these pictures today. There were, let's see, 334 worldwide. We've got a lot of big dots. These are 5s. There was a six off the coast of Panama yesterday. Then a lot of 5s. There was a 5 off the coast of Petrolia, California. That's at the base of the Juan de Fuca plate. And then this activity at Iran. So a lot of activity going on. Here in the lower 48, there were 195 today. Southern California is showing 31. Searles Valley Ridgecrest is showing 12. This is western Nevada over to Mammoth Lakes, and this is the area where we had, what was it? I think it was a 6.1 at Colville. Not sure when that happened. Anyway, it's still swarming there. We've got 106 in this picture. Okay, we've got a 1.9 just north of Carson City. Here's along the San Andreas fault line south of San Francisco. We've got 7 today. The largest was 2.6 at Pinnacles. This is the Geysers region, and just a little to the north we've got 24. Here we've got 3 in this Petrolia area. This is California. Here's the San Andreas fault line coming up. This is the base of the Juan de Fuca plate that connects the San Andreas fault. We had a 5.1 that came in last night at 11:46 p.m. Pacific time, and then a 2.4 at 12:05 this morning, and then a 2.2 at 12:38 this morning. So there's lots of movement going on. Now this is kind of unusual to see almost no earthquakes. This is the Pacific Northwest over to Yellowstone. We've had a whole bunch of swarming in Yellowstone Lake this week. That's quiet. See, we only have 2 earthquakes on this picture. Nothing up here in the Pacific Northwest, and there had been a lot of activity up here earlier this week. And all we've got in this picture is a 2.6 and a 3.2 here at Stanley, Idaho. And that's it. Here's in Arizona, a 2.9 near Williams, Arizona. This is Texas and Oklahoma. We've got 5 here today. Let's see. The largest is a 2.5 at Van Horn, Texas. We've got another one in northern Arkansas on the Ozark Plateau. See, right on the Arkansas-Missouri border. 2.2 at Diamond City. Not very deep. 1.9 kilometers deep. Always look at that. That came in yesterday at 6:17 p.m. Here's one in southern Tennessee of 1.8 near Lakeside. 5.3 northern mid-Atlantic ridge, right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Puerto Rico had a 4.5 here on the southwest coast, 28 total. Here is the 6.3. This is off the coast of Panama. Right before that was a 4.3 there, and then there was a 4.2. This came in, 6.1. Why did I say 6.3? 6.1. This came in yesterday at 1:56 p.m. Then we've got a 4.4 on the north coast of Colombia and a 4.6 at Barrias, Guatemala. So this is the 6.1. This is right on this Cocos plate. South America had two, a 4.9 and a 4.3. Here was one in the South Pacific, 5.1 near Pitcairn Islands, and this is just west of this red line. Hawaii showing 24 today. Alaska showing 61. Here's the South Pacific. There was one in between the two islands of New Zealand. It was a 4.2. And we've got a 5.4 at Tonga, Pangai, Tonga, and a 5.2 southeast of the Loyalty Islands. This is Indonesia and Philippines area. We've got 6 here. 5.1 Nangang, Philippines. 4.7 Madang, Philippines. 4.5 Lake Cebu. 4.9 Bandar. Let's see. 4.9 Kandrian, Papua New Guinea. 4.9 Gorontalo, Indonesia. Then Japan, these are on land. We've got 4.7 at Ikidacho, 4.6 and 4.5 at Malkamachi. Here we go. We've got one at Greece. This is, it looks like Crete. 4.4 at Pyrgos, Greece. And then we got 4 here at Iran. So the sulfur dioxide was right on above this Caspian Sea, and it streamed down. And we can see a red line here. That's a plate line. And a lot of times we'll see sulfur dioxide come up as a release if there's a pocket that's being released before the earthquakes actually happen. It's because the rocks are shifting and moving ahead of time. And so we've got the 5.4. These are all at the same place. 4.3, 4.4, and 4.4 at Borajan, Iran. The 5.4 came in at 7:34 this morning. Here's a close-up. So it's just across here, across the coast from Kuwait, right here. That's all of those. See? And so more than likely this is earthquake related. And it is in this exclamation point shape. That's the shape I found that usually goes along with earthquakes. Now we'll look at the website, see what's happened since I started the show. We've got a 4.2 at Cuba. They had one earlier this week too at Cuba. Santiago de Cuba. That came in at 6:33 tonight. Look, Puerto Rico, they're still rocking. They've got 36 now. We've got some more down here in South America. See, that big one has come off the map there. Let's see. We saw those. Let's see any more in Iran. Look, it's spreading out. We've got 5 here. And then we got a 4.2 to the south at Moar. And then we got one here in Syria, 4.3 near Deir ez-Zor, Syria. That came in at 309. Oh, let's look at this one. Look, this is on the island of Crete. Let's see. 4.4. Looks like it was right on the road. Let's see, what is that? Is that 97? Looks like 97. Let's see what else is going on. We've got 82 here, this area. Let's turn on 7 days, all magnitudes. 2,903 this week. Look at all of this. We had another experimental explosion off the coast of Florida that caused a 3.9 magnitude earthquake. This is off the coast of Flagler Beach. This was on the 16th at 10:48 in the morning. Now, we had one here a couple of weeks ago, and they said it was the Navy testing their ships to see if they could withstand a bomb or something. So it must have been a heck of a bomb that they exploded in there. We had kind of some unusual movement in northern New Mexico, not too far from Los Alamos. Let's see. Here's Los Alamos. Here. And then we had 5 earthquakes at Capulan. The largest was a 4.2, and these were on the 12th. And all of this here by Colville. 764 this week. Let's see. Okay, so that big one must have happened before this week. I can't remember. The days all go together. I know I posted it. We've had a lot of movement on the Juan de Fuca plate this week. Look at this. See? And then here at the bottom of the plate. And look at the Pacific Northwest. See? All along this Cascadia zone. And then Yellowstone here in the lake, right in the lake, 80. So, yeah, this is all magnitude. We've had more than that, though. I think. Maybe that it's been going more than a week. I can't remember. Look at that. It's a wonder we're still here, frankly. Considering all that's going on. Now I'll finish up. I always like to finish up by bringing the focus back to a spiritual viewpoint. I do believe we are in the end times, and time is short for all of us. None of us have much longer. I don't know how much longer, but we need to be prepared spiritually. And I believe the best way to be prepared is to give your life to Jesus Christ and to have His guidance and protection in these last few days and weeks and hours, and also so that you'll go to heaven when it's time. And I'm reading out of 1 Thessalonians. These are the letters from Paul to the Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians chapter 3. Wherefore, when we could no longer forbear, we thought it good to be left at Athens alone, and sent Timotheus our brother, and minister of God, and our fellow laborer in the gospel of Christ, to establish you and to comfort you concerning your faith, that no man should be moved by these afflictions, for yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. For verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know. For this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your faith, lest by some means the tempter have tempted you, and our labor be in vain. But now when Timotheus came from you unto us, and brought us good tidings of your faith and charity, that ye have good remembrance of us always, desiring greatly to see us, as we also to see you. Therefore, brethren, we were comforted over you in all our affliction and distress by your faith. For now we live, if ye stand fast in the Lord. For what thanks can we render to God again for you, for all the joy wherewith we joy for your sakes before our God, night and day praying exceedingly that we might see your face, and might perfect that which is lacking in your faith. Now God Himself, and our Father, and our Lord Jesus Christ, direct our way unto you, and the Lord make you to increase and abound in love, one toward another, and toward all men, even as we do toward you, to the end He may establish your hearts unblameable in holiness before God, even our fathers, at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ with all his saints. 1 Thessalonians chapter 3. So I'm praying for all of you. I want you to know I love you, and I hope you have a good week, and I will talk to you next week, if not before. So until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.